Good evening and welcome to another episode of What's So Funny. I'm Guy McPherson, and the show tonight features stand-up comic, actor, Mark Forward. Do not call him Mike Forward. Only ignorant journalists do that, and I'm not one of them. Unless I do it purposefully. That is. It is Mark Forward. You know him from Mr. D, where he played the seething librarian, Mr. Leung. Was everyone in that show named Mr.? Well, not anymore, because Mark Forward is no longer on the show. He tells us why. How that came about. Such a popular character. Off the airwaves. Could there be controversy? Or not. Mark Forward is a private guy, but he opened up on this show just for you. He has a soft spot in his heart for this program, which he just discovered moments before doing it. Yes, we recorded this. Well, did we? We recorded this a couple weeks ago, or maybe it's live tonight. You'll have to make the call on that one. It was a fun talk. I enjoyed talking to Mark Forward, and he's a great comic. If you ever get a chance to see him, go. You will laugh. You will laugh throughout this conversation I had with him, and you will think, and maybe you'll even shed a tear. I don't know, because I'm not you. Here's my talk with Mark Forward. See that thing in your hand? You want to hold it close to your mouth.
Well, for fuck's sakes, I know.
Don't check your messages while we're doing the show.
I was checking them before we start.
We've started.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Mike Forward. So you've done a lot of commercials. What was that like?
I see what you did there.
Do you?
Yeah, part of my brain got really angry really quickly, but then I was like, well, I'm going to wait this out.
See where it goes.
See where it goes.
You get that a lot, I take it.
In Canada, yeah.
Oh, elsewhere? Europe, they always get it right.
They always get it right in Europe. Indonesia, big Mark Forward fans. No, yeah, I mean, I just, I don't know if you're going to interview someone. We spoke about this. If
We
you're going
did,
to
but
interview
you know-
someone, know just a little bit about them. But
A little.
we talked about, too, that I liked your interview style because you don't assume anything, and you kind of let the person just talk rather than come in with very
agenda?
specific things that you've pulled off Google.
Well, I do check the Google.
Yeah, of course. Well, you have to do your job, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. So
So tell
sometimes,
us about that thing in 2002. You know what I mean? Where it's
well, it's funny you should mention that because I did a story on you in the Georgia Strait,
Yeah.
and I did bring up the retirement thing,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is kind of old.
and
And I-
everybody brings it up.
So is
But
that
it's
fair
just
game?
like it's just like you interviewed Orny and you brought up comedian, and you interviewed probably Elijah. Did you bring up Last Comic Standing? And you interview, you know what I mean? Like it's you have to pick. I
Here's a-
guess the biggest.
Yeah, here's my defense on Eliza
Good,
and
'cause
also
I'm ready to fight.
Brian Regan when I bring up that he's clean.
Right.
And as I told Orny, I brought it up. The first time I write about you, I have to sort of explain something about you that everyone knows about.
Well, we're
Second and-
egomaniacs, right?
Second
We're-
and third time, then those are, I don't need to talk about them
Right.
anymore.
We're
This was your first
egomaniacs,
time.
right? We just expect.
Everything to be
We just
the
think
way
in our
you
heads
want it.
everybody knows who we are, but nobody knows.
Yeah. But you know what? The retirement thing, which I wrote about,
Yeah.
is only because you supplied a nice, tidy ribbon at the end there.
I
about-
know. I read your article and I was like, good for you for wrapping it up, finding the the through line. It was nice. It was it was nice work.
Yeah. So I had to mention the retirement at that point.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah. So
No, everybody does, and
Yeah.
that's fine.
It's
I'm
okay.
fine with it.
You know, it
I'm
was
fine with
the
it.
very first time I heard of you, being out here in the wilderness in Vancouver, and you're a big city boy from Toronto.
Yeah.
First time I heard of you was your retirement. So
So it worked.
it worked. It worked.
Yeah. I mean, it did bring me a lot of attention. So I've never regretted it in any way. And I quite get a kick out of comics getting angry at me for it. So I have no problem with that.
No. In all respects, you like it when comics get angry at you.
The right comics. It's you know what? It's always the same kind of comic that gets angry and stuff like that.
So who is that? What is the type of comic?
You want names?
No, just the type. And then from there we'll figure out the names.
Man, I feel like I'm being led down a
No, okay.
wormhole.
You're the one who said it's always a certain kind of comic. So is it a newbie comic? Is it somebody who's not sure of themselves? What is it?
No.
Somebody who's worked a lot who hasn't got press?
Newbie comics, I've noticed lately, don't care who you are or what you're doing. And I don't want to. Can I swear on this or?
If you must, you got to go
I'm
blue.
gonna try not to, but I don't.
Blue.
I don't want to attack anyone. See, I changed the word. But I mean, even I hosted an amateur night here last night, and half of them left before the show was over.
Oh, I hate that.
And I don't understand it. I really don't. It drives me insane. I always had a rule coming up, and it was my own rule, but I would watch everyone I hadn't seen once. I think that's fair. Now, if I watch a headliner and they're not for me, or they're not my style, or I feel that I'm not really gonna learn much, I won't watch again. But I always watch someone once because you can learn so much from just watching.
You can learn,
and it's a dying art,
pro or con too.
Yes.
Even if you don't like them, you can learn about.
You can learn.
Yeah.
I learned a hell of a lot on the road because those nights you're stuck watching the same person over and over and over and over again. And I learned a hell of a lot what I don't want to be from watching road comics.
Yeah. So young comics out there, listen.
But
and what about listening? You said this was sort of an amateur night?
Yeah, it was a pro-am.
Pro-am. Oh, so should they watch other beginners?
They should watch each other like hawks.
Yeah.
I've been doing it 15 years, and I was listening to them because comedy changes over time. I've seen so many older comics, and I'm getting into that age now. I'm 40. Lose touch with what comedy is at that time because I find it evolves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Comedy's not the same it was in the 80s and the 90s. It's a whole new thing now. So I don't want to miss out. I don't want to be the parent that doesn't know who the new band is. I don't want to be...
You're staying on top of the trends.
Yeah, sort of, and the style and what people are talking about.
So you've been at it for 15 years.
Yeah.
You have seen different styles come and go. You probably have performed different styles.
Yeah.
How does your comedy differ from when let's go in 5-year increments.
All right. The first 5 years was poop jokes.
Seriously?
Yeah. Probably poop and...
Nobody
Actually,
likes that, though.
No. Well, yeah. That's why every comic has a shit joke.
Because people don't like it.
People hate it.
And I say everyone, by that I mean me.
I hate it, too.
Just makes me uncomfortable.
Talking about excrement and such?
Yeah. I like to go through my life thinking that nobody does that.
Well, are you a germaphobe?
No.
Okay. Because when I came in, I wanted to shake your hand, and you said I coughed.
Well, wait a second.
And
you
now
came
you don't
down
wanna
the
talk
stairs.
about
You coughed. you put your arm up. I missed that you were doing it into your sleeve.
I did it into my sleeve.
But you coughed, and then you said hi, and you stuck out your hand to shake.
Yeah. But that's why I thought you might be a germaphobe, because you instantly said, I'm not shaking your hand. Where
You would have.
I would have foregone it and then got a cold later and gone, oh, that son of a...
Right.
Yeah. But you saw it instantly, and now you're telling me you don't like talking about poop. So, do you have a little germ thing going on?
No, I do not.
Okay. Because I noticed your mic doesn't have a cover on it.
That's right. You
Yeah,
would think that
so-
mine would.
Yeah.
See? I do not. So where were we? First 5 years doing...
Yeah. It was probably poop, and actually the first...
just gross out stuff.
the first comic I was like one-liners, very dry. And I had the ill fortune of I went to school for comedy.
As one does.
Yeah. Which I don't regret. It helped. It helps you get into the scene and helps you find. To me, I never had to walk into a comedy club alone, which to me, if it was the first time, would be absolutely terrifying.
You always have God with you.
You had like a friend. Yeah, I always had God in my scriptures. No, I mean, I just had someone there that I knew. I had a friendly face.
Someone from your class.
Yeah, someone
Yeah.
from my class that I'd met, or you get an introduction to it. I couldn't imagine walking into a comedy club. It's horrible.
Not knowing
It's
anyone.
absolutely
Yeah.
horrible. And I used to be a dick that would sit in the corner and not talk to anyone because I was shy.
So
and,
not being a dick purposely. You're just
no,
shy.
it was a social problem.
Yeah.
I still have to work on it. Like last night, being the MC here, I had to work. I had to muster myself to say hello and learn people's names. And
Oh, on stage.
no, before in the back.
Oh, with the other comics. Yeah.
Because I don't know if you know this, most comics are not very social.
Yeah. Some are though.
Some are. Some are
Too social.
Some are can't turn it off social. Yeah. For the first five, if we're talking about the first 5 years of my stand up, I was so quiet that I kind of got a reputation as an asshole
Hard to shake.
because it is hard to shake that.
So you've grown into it.
I've grown into being an yeah. I just got bigger.
But you're saying that it was a misperception of you.
Well, because comics are very needy. We like attention. We like to be talked to. So when someone is sitting away and doesn't talk to them, their automatic instinct is, oh, he doesn't like me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
That happens with me too.
Does it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Often I don't.
for years after that, I would. Well,
But it's nice to have that shy factor too going.
well. Okay, if I'm being 100% honest, I do like to sit back, learn the scope of the human condition, learn who people are before I give myself to them.
That is a very good point. I remember I used to say when I was younger, I don't want to get to know someone first and then have them disappoint me or be an asshole.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that it could be a defense mechanism.
It's totally, let's be honest, it's a defense mechanism so
But
we don't get hurt,
I guess that's what it is.
right?
Yeah.
So sit back, wait to see who they are. But you know what it also is? It's not totally all that because this is going to sound horrible, but I don't like talking to 75% of the human race.
No, that sounds completely normal.
But I think everyone thinks that. There's just people you connect with and there's people you don't.
Right.
I've had so many comics say, I thought you hated me. And it's like, well, based on what?
Right.
Just me being quiet?
Yeah.
Now, some of them were right, like we talked about. But
And 25% does sound like a low number, but keep in mind there are 7 billion people in the world.
that's right.
So you like a lot of people.
I like a lot of people.
You gotta
Thank
look
you
at the
for putting a
positive spin.
positive spin on my terrible personality.
So your comedy in the first 5 years was reflective of being a new comic as well as who you were, but also of comedy of the day?
Yeah, I
15 years
mean,
ago?
I came up, it was really shock comedy at that time. People like Jason Rouse and stuff like that were doing very, very well. And I knew I didn't want to be that.
Too many tattoos involved.
There's way too much ink involved in that. So I think the first 5 years as a comic, you're trying to be every comic you ever wanted to be and also trying to impress the comics in the back of the room. So you never really become the comic you're supposed to be in that first 5 years, if that makes any sense.
Yes, it does.
Everything you're doing is for someone else. And then the good comics, I feel, break through that. And the bad ones never do.
Mm-hmm. Do they keep going with it? Do they have
just
long
keep-
careers?
They probably have, I've seen guys that have been working 20, 30 years that no one knows,
Yeah.
but they made a living. Can you see air quotes on the? I don't know. I had bigger goals than just.
Oh, you're a goal-driven comic.
I don't think I am.
What were your goals?
I always had I had very small goals. I had a friend who's in the business now. She works for Just for Laughs. Lovely person. Zoe Randall. I'll say her name. I don't care. But she once said to me, "What are your goals?" And I said, "I don't have any." I really didn't. I still really don't. But I have aspirations.
This is semantics now.
I don't know. Like I have things. I want to be certain places at a certain time, but I don't really have like a goal. Like people say, "Do you want to go to LA?" I'm like, no, not really.
So are they just sort of vague ideas of where you would like to be? Or are they specific? I would like to be at this stage or have this kind of platform.
I wanted to make the festivals.
Yeah.
I wanted to be the kind of comedian that Just for Laughs brings back.
Check.
Yep. I wanted to work in television as an actor.
Check.
Yep. And I wanted to do some movies, and I've done that.
Oh, so you've done movies.
I've done movies.
What? I should have Googled that.
No worries. I was in one of the worst movies ever. I was in The Rocker.
Not familiar with this.
With Jesus, now I'm gonna forget his name. He's from The Office.
BJ.
BJ and the Bear.
Greg Evigan.
No, what is his name?
Like that? I just pulled that one out.
Nice.
Greg Evigan from BJ and the Bear.
No.
BJ Porter or BJ.
I'm impressed. Let me sit in that. Nice job.
Thank you. BJ. It is not anyone named BJ.
No.
From The Office.
No. Oh man.
Oh, it's the guy Summer.
Dwayne.
Autumn.
He played Dwayne. I
Autumn, or he has a weird name. Sky.
No,
what's that guy's name?
He's producing a show now with the Vine rapist guy.
What?
I've just made it worse.
Yeah.
Oh, what is his name? I can't remember his name.
We're not going anywhere till you come up with his name. Nope. Just put a little music in the background.
What is his name? I can see his face.
So it's not the guy with the weird name Autumn or Sky.
No, who's
he?
He's Rainn Wilson. So is that what you were thinking?
Yeah, Rainn. Autumn, Sky. I was on the right track. Is that who it was?
Yes.
Yeah, Rainn Wilson. I knew it was not a real name.
I think it made $13,000 in its opening weekend. So
that's pretty sweet.
You're welcome.
So it played the theaters.
Yeah, it was a big budget release.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
And did you have a big role?
No, God no.
But they kept you in.
I was doing stand up at the Rivoli in Toronto. The producers were out for a night. Said, "Oh, let's get that guy."
Sweet.
So yeah.
Did they see you? Was your character in the movie similar to your persona on stage?
Not at all. So I have no idea what they were hiring me for. But I sort of fell into that.
Yeah. Other movies?
Yeah, I just did a movie with oh God, names are the worst for me. Colin Hanks and Alison Brie.
Oh, the cheese.
Yeah.
So you got to remember that one in the future.
There you go. Well, also she's lovely and very talented. I just did a movie with them called No Stranger Than Love, which comes out I think this year.
Oh, good.
Or next.
So your goals and aspirations are coming true. One of those words.
Yeah, it's been okay.
Yeah.
It's been okay, but I mean, I still walk into a pro-am to MC it, and they had no idea who I was.
Sure.
So I'd like that goal a little higher. Not that I want fame.
Just a little recognition.
A little recognition.
Oh, he's that guy.
He's that guy. Oh, he's good.
Mike Forward.
Mike Forward. Let's sit down and watch him. Do you know what I mean? If the people in your own occupation don't even know who you are, you still have not reached anything, I believe. Like I get I get a plumber not knowing who I am.
You get that.
I get that.
Right.
I get that.
Understandable.
Like I don't have an ego, right? Like I truly get. I think you have to know where you are in this business, otherwise you're gonna go insane. Do you know what I mean? Like you're gonna sit at home going, "Why am I not getting stuff? Why am I not?"
Right.
If you know where you stand,
you got to be proactive.
You got to be proactive. You got to push yourself. You got to promote yourself, but you also have to know where you're at.
And where are you at?
I'm just above unknown touring Canadian comedian.
Just above.
Just above that, whatever that is.
Yeah. I appreciate you coming back to town just for this show. I know you were at the Mix back November 26th, 7th, 8th. 9th, somewhere around there.
What?
Well, this is not airing.
Oh, this is there. Hey, no problem. I actually just stuck around.
Oh, I know.
I haven't left.
I know you're a big fan of the show.
I am a huge fan.
Yeah. Since you asked me the other day. You do a podcast too.
Yeah.
And that's what we referenced off the top. You told me that you're retiring that. And I believe this time it's for real.
It is so for real.
You're going to do 100 episodes and call it quits. And so far you've done 70-odd. 73?
Yeah, we're at 78.
78.
Yeah.
22 more to go.
22 more to go.
And why? Just because you're done with it? Or you like round numbers?
Part of me had wished. Oh, there's someone entering.
Hello.
Room. What kind of show are you running here? What was that song on his phone? Did you hear it?
Oh, I didn't.
His phone was ringing, and it was like, I think it was, loving you isn't the right thing to do. That guy has a happy life if he's chosen that as his ringtone. If you're listening at home, someone entered the room.
That would be the owner.
Oh, the owner of the club?
Yeah.
Oh, what's his name?
Mario.
I don't know if I've ever met him.
Well, you probably won't.
And that makes a great comedy owner.
He only talks to the comics he likes.
Oh.
That was uncalled for.
Wow.
That was uncalled for.
That was
And I
uncalled.
don't even think that's true.
Wow.
But you know what? It's going to make you feel a lot better if he talks to you.
Now, if he talks to me, I
See?
feel really good.
Could go either way there.
Hopefully, he doesn't get a phone call in between. Loving you.
What were we talking about?
I don't remember.
Come on.
We were on the movie thing and then the thing. I don't remember. It's your job to remember.
Is it? When people
Yes.
walk in the middle of my show, it's my job to remember where we were?
It's your
That was
job
unexpected.
as a professional to stay on course no matter what happens.
Oh, my goodness. Does that ever happen to you on stage where you just blank? But, of course, you're funny. You can make up for it.
I used to. Yeah.
You used to.
I used to, but now I'm pretty, I don't know, I've got like an air of, none of this matters. So I don't have that
You've
fear.
done movies. None of this matters.
Well, no, I disagree with that. Come on, don't pay me like, I have not done a successful movie. No one knows who I am.
That's not true. There's a mother at my child's school who says you're one of her favorites.
Ah, is she coming?
Yeah, she wrote me and said, "Oh, I just checked and there's still seats available." So
You mean there was seats available?
Yeah, when she wrote.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, probably sold out.
You did, remember? You sold out that whole weekend.
All 5 shows sold out.
Standing ovations.
Oh, it was amazing.
They know who you
I don't
are
think
now.
I'll ever get a standing ovation.
Because
I don't think I have an act for a standing ovation, and I think that's fair. I envy the guys that do, like an Orny who builds you up and leads you up to this thing where you go, oh my God, I want to stand up.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yours peters out.
Mine peters out. Yeah.
You're standing to exit.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
oh my God, wouldn't it be great to have a standing ovation?
Oh, it would. You should try for one.
I'm gonna try for one last weekend when I was here.
A couple weekends ago.
Yeah, a couple weekends ago.
Yeah.
Oh, you got 2 in the can.
I do.
Oh man.
No, one is going to be live.
Oh, where are you doing that?
Well, I do that from the radio station.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Remember
You
that
didn't-
part?
Yeah, you didn't invite
This
me
is
to that.
just a podcast.
Right.
I
Yeah.
would have invited you, but I assumed that you go home on a Sunday during
Yeah.
the day. We're on Sunday nights.
Oh, well, that's a terrible time to choose to interview comedians.
It's perfect. No shows?
So you just must interview a lot of Vancouver comics a lot.
No, that's not true. Orny Adams?
Yeah,
You-
but he was coming through.
You
just to
name
laugh.
them. I've had them on the show.
I know you have you've interviewed a very impressive amount of people.
Well, 10 years.
You know, did you interview Gaffigan?
Over the phone several times, but
Yeah,
never for
never
the show.
For a show.
Why, you like him?
Yeah, he's all right.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, he's doing okay.
Why? How did you come up with that name?
I don't know.
Gaffigan.
Yeah,
Like he's at the top.
he's up there. What about Paul F. Tompkins? You ever sit down with him?
No, he's a little
Oh.
unapproachable. but I did have him.
Wait, why do you find him unapproachable? I'm going to tell him you said that.
I find him to be. Well, I interviewed him over the phone,
Okay.
and then
That sounds really unapproachable. Hey?
I ran that on the show, so
Yeah.
it wasn't specifically for the show, but I ran it. I thought I can run this on the show, and people will probably download it because it says Paul F. Tompkins.
Right.
Yeah, no, I don't know. He just seems to he wouldn't like the common man.
Are you serious?
I get the sense he really likes other performers.
You have, I think you've totally misread him.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's probably
But you're a comedian. How would you know?
Okay,
You would have
this
no
is true.
idea.
You're saying like because I'm in the inner sanctum
That's right.
that he just
He
accepts me.
respects you.
Okay. Well, I can see that.
Trust me, there's no funnier guy than Paul F. Tompkins.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not disparaging her.
He
him.
hates the common man.
He's a man, right?
You just called him a lady.
Yeah, I don't know.
No wonder. He's a lovely, lovely man.
Yes, I see that too with other comedians. I don't think he's that way with. Well, you know, I've got two strikes against me. I'm a citizen, a civilian,
Right.
and I'm a journalist.
Right.
Now you can reach a certain level, and journalists are not your friends,
I agree.
and that is a perception problem. Or maybe it's true for many journalists, but it's not for me. I'm not a real.
It's such a
journalist.
weird thing, right? Like because when you're at my level or lower, and there's not much beneath me, we crave for journalism attention,
I was thinking of that today. Yeah.
and then once you reach a certain level, you're like, I don't want to talk to them anymore.
That's right. Or I'll talk to him, but for 10 minutes.
But do you find that the journalists have a different approach based on who they're talking to, right?
Explain.
Well, there's a feeling in this world we live in right now where you got to bring people down when they're up.
Mm-hmm.
So
I've always felt that,
yes.
even before I was a journalist.
I don't know. I just think that the questions are harder pressing and
Oh, you
come
think
at
so?
from a
Like,
different angle.
for a comedian, though, entertainment journalist. Like
I don't know.
what are we gonna do? Like, what would a question be to someone? Like, if I was interviewing Jerry Seinfeld, how would I bring him down? So are you still doing your little web series? It's like that?
That's such a great web series.
It is. It's my favorite.
Oh man.
I love it. You should do that.
Yeah.
Do your relatives tell you that?
Yes.
You should do that Jerry Seinfeld web series.
You should just go do that. Go do midnight. Okay. Yeah, I don't have my papers or anything like that, but yeah. Yeah, I just watched the Bill Burr one.
Oh, it's out?
Yeah, it's out.
Okay.
It was out 2 weeks ago.
Jeez.
Right?
So I'm 2 weeks behind because I just saw the first one of this
Wow.
series.
You probably already watched it by the time this airs.
They
Man.
were fantastic.
This is like
I got to say, I saw the Kevin Hart one.
Did you?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh, it was out 3 weeks ago.
I know, but I'm very selective. Like I whenever I watch that show, I kind of pick and choose and go all over the map.
Let me tell you something, Mark Forward.
Yeah.
If that's your real name.
It actually is.
You got to go and watch everybody. Don't pick and choose.
Why?
Same reason you tell younger comics you got to watch
This
everybody.
is a great point.
Because
now,
here's the thing. Kevin Hart, never been a fan. Never liked him in anything
sold
that I
you.
saw. And I loved him on this. When I listen to Mark Maron's podcast, I don't care if I've heard of the person or not. Because
Right.
sometimes I've heard of the person and it does nothing for me. Other
Right.
times I haven't heard of them and they're fantastic.
right.
So these are...
I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the scolding. But here's the thing. I go back and listen. So
You go... What?
well, like I start with like I don't listen. I don't watch that show religiously. So when I do watch it, I start with the people. There's already like a whole season by the time I get
Right.
around to it.
There's
So I
6
watch the
episodes
people
per
I like,
season.
and then I work down.
I know it's a lot of time, 12 minutes an episode.
I'm too busy making movies and being famous.
So
I gotta start talking like Orny Adams. But Bill Burr,
right.
it was so good.
Was it?
Yeah, it's just him talking. But I could listen to Bill talk.
I could listen to all of them, yeah.
Yeah, it's just there's something about
This is how we got on this. Journalists talking to comedians at a certain level,
Right.
bringing them down.
Right.
I don't know if that is true. What I think journalists, the ones you can't trust, the ones who give journalists a bad name, what they do is they don't interview with put down questions. They interview very nicely and respectfully, and then they write something
And then they spin it.
that is horrible.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that.
So when you get when you achieve your aspirations, you'll still talk to journalists?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Yeah, I think so.
It's easy to say now, I guess.
I think so. I mean, I was never good at talking for 10 years of my career, and I hate the word career. I don't know why I do, but I hate it. For the first 10 years, I was not good at it. I was always torn between like A, not thinking anyone wants to hear what I have to say. B, I'm not being funny. So it was like this, and then I would just shut down because I was fighting between those two things.
And do you think that has changed now because of the advent of podcasts and web series? Because you hear now comics and they're not always funny, and yet it's still riveting, or can be.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah,
I'm still saying 100%. I've been trying to stop saying 100%.
Is that your thing?
Yeah, I say it way too much, and I've been trying to stop, but it's still there.
But
yes, I agree.
110, go bigger.
Don't add more to my thing I'm trying to get rid of. It's like, hey, I'm trying to quit smoking. Here's more smoke.
Okay.
But I agree. Yeah, listening to other comics talk is very interesting. There's still part of me that goes, no one wants to hear. There's parts of my crazy that even during this interview I've gone, well, that was 10 minutes that everyone got bored.
You can't know what the masses are thinking. Some people, for sure, will have got bored. But hear me out. Some people...
Please finish this point quickly.
Some people will have loved it.
Yeah.
You can't worry about what everybody's... As long as everybody doesn't get bored, then
Right.
you're okay.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I apply a totally different thinking to my stand-up, because when I was doing stand-up, I remember this is a story I've told before, but I don't care. I was watching a comic that was killing across the board. Like he was the whole room was loving him, and I was watching that, and I was thinking, are we running out of time?
No, I just
keep
checking.
looking at the time.
Well, I want to make sure that we're still going. It's still running.
Okay.
And two, I'm checking the time.
All right.
And hurry your
If
story.
it's not
Hurry your story along,
It's
please.
not a great story. I don't have to tell it. But this was a turning point in how I do. Okay, now he's looking at his watch. But
No what?
it was a turning. Oh, you did the old mime watch. It was a turning point for me because I remember sitting there going, "Well, I don't really want to be that."
You don't want to hit all across the board.
I didn't want to hit it all across the board. I didn't want to be talking about Tim Hortons. Like, I'm not attacking anyone that does talk about Tim Hortons, but that's the idea. Like this generic poop, poop, Tim Hortons. Like when back when the army dug out Toronto and everybody was talking about it, I didn't want to be that.
It's a surefire reaction, but it's everybody's doing it.
Yeah. And so I started changing what I was doing, and it was hard because I was losing half the crowd. And one night I was in Edmonton, and half the crowd absolutely hated me with a passion. And the other half were laughing. And I came off stage and I'm like, oh my God, I'm not getting this. And it was Matt Billen. You ever met Matt
Yeah, I
Billen?
just talked to him the other day.
Matt Billen comes up to me
A
and
couple
goes,
weeks ago.
no, dude, you're doing exactly the right thing. You're doing exactly the right thing. That half that likes you is going to remember you. When you're pleasing the whole crowd, they just go, oh, that was a comedy show. You're finding your audience.
Yeah.
So it was really, Matt Billen probably doesn't even know
changed your.
that he changed how I started approaching comedy.
Matt Billen is responsible for this.
He's responsible for this unknown comedian no one knows.
But
That just played 5 sold-out shows in the comedy mix. And also, I cured cancer.
yes,
2
people
weeks
don't know
ago.
that.
Thank you.
You know, Dimitri Martin talks about comics who do very personal material on stage.
Right.
So we're talking about you in interviews going, oh, is anyone going to care about what I think? Well, now the comedy has moved to comics really talking about themselves on stage. And Dimitri Martin doesn't do that.
No.
But and to those he sees that do the personal comedy, he has the give a shit test, he calls it.
Right.
Like, do I care enough about this person to warrant it? So, like, do you ever feel, I don't know how personal you get.
I have no personal stuff in my comedy. I never have.
Yeah, because, and it might be rooted in what you were saying about, does anyone really care about me?
It was more that I'm ridiculously private about
What
that
makes you private?
stuff. I just don't think anybody needs to know about that stuff.
What don't they need to know about?
About this stuff.
What skeletons do you have in your closet?
I mean, we all have skeletons.
No, I don't.
You have skeletons.
And I
And
don't-
everybody has
And
skeletons.
I don't poop.
Everybody's messed up. But that's not the stuff. It's just
Your hero, John Doerr, is also very private. Will not talk about himself.
100% private. Yeah, I envy those guys because the wealth of material that's there is
It's never ending.
it's never ending.
Yeah.
But I kind of like the challenge of I have to look a bit harder for what I want to talk about. That makes sense.
It does. And it
See, I don't even believe in what I say. Do you hear how many times I say, does that make sense? I don't even believe what I'm saying.
I believe you do.
I
So you're
believe
not-
it, but at the end, I always do that.
I think you
Why
would.
can't I just say it and say period?
End of discussion.
End discussion. That's what I feel, but I can't.
You will not go to Tim Hortons or the Army digging out Toronto.
No, see, so I've
you
restricted my personal
right.
stuff. I've restricted common occurrences.
So where do you go?
That's why I tell jokes about
Absurdities?
chipmunks that are
Yeah.
spousal abusing and
You just let your mind wander. From a place of truth and reality, you just take it places that we can't expect.
yeah. I mean, I've always wanted to put on a fun show. But yeah, I mean, it's all rooted in reality. You can't, once you're not rooted in reality, even absurd comedy doesn't make sense. It has to have some sort of root. It comes from somewhere.
You're extremely private. So I wasn't going to ask about your youth and growing up,
Right.
but now you're forcing me.
I don't mind talking about the past,
Oh, just the future.
the present, the the early past, the present, and the future. I don't know. I think guys are the same way. Like, if you had asked John Doerr what was your childhood like,
I wouldn't.
He probably would answer, though. It's a weird thing. It's just a weird. I don't even know how to explain it. But you wouldn't ask him.
I wouldn't now. Now,
Have you interviewed him as well
I've interviewed him, yes.
on
and
this program?
well, now every time he comes to town, he only does Stop Podcasting Yourself.
Right.
It's like, they haven't had him on enough. I tell him that. I write to him. I go, look, you come on. I won't ask you a single question. You can ask me any question you want. We'll just talk.
Right.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Always Graham and Dave. But John Doerr is a great guy.
So there's some.
I like
there's
him.
some
He gave me a
jealousy
T-shirt.
between your podcast and their podcast.
Well, they're the ones that people listen to.
Yeah, yeah. I'm supposed to be doing it this week, but
Hey, you do it.
they don't respond very frequently.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, Dave has a baby.
Yeah.
Graham is in the midst of the comedy coup. He's in the top 5.
Right.
So they asked you to be on, or you said?
I said I'm going to be in town, and then they responded, and then I haven't heard anything
Oh, okay.
since. So
Well,
we'll
you
see.
do it. Make sure you say
Well,
that
maybe
you
I
did
have
this.
done it.
Say you did this show.
Right. Well, I will have done it by the time this airs, or not done it. Oh man,
No, this is
This is like
confusing.
the-
I never should have started that.
you never should have started the time travel conundrum. But you
So-
were asking something before.
But your youth.
oh yeah. we
So you
don't
were a
need to
quiet
talk about
kid?
that. I was a overly emotional kid.
Like cry at the drop of a hat, or anger.
Not anger, more sensitive.
Hmm.
You know, nightmares,
Right.
trouble sleeping, worry
Up
about
until-
dying.
Did it eventually stop?
Around 40. Yeah. Had a
It
lot
did stop.
It did stop.
As a child, I mean.
As a child, no. I mean, I lived with the fear of dying right through my 20s.
Yeah. A
Yeah.
hypochondriac?
No, I'm not a hypochondriac, which is weird. You think I would be?
Yeah. So you get sick.
It's just more the act of dying that I'm afraid of, not how it's going to happen.
just not being there.
Just yeah, not existing anymore.
It's an existential angst.
Which is, yeah, it's great. I mean, I got some calmness out of, I can't remember who made this quote, but they said, how terrifying was it before you were born?
Well, that's good.
That's a good one, right?
Yeah.
I wish I could quote the person who said it. I think it was Richard Mulligan from Empty Nest who said that.
And soap.
He's my go-to.
For me, it's Greg Evigan.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, how terrifying was it before you were born? It's a great way to look at it.
Mm-hmm. It's just being in nothingness.
Yeah, you're gone, and I mean, John Doerr used to. I know we're talking about him a lot, but he used to terrify me because we'd get on a plane, and I'd be terrified. I was kind of afraid of planes when I first started.
Me too. We have
And
so much in common.
We do, and he was the kind of guy that'd be like, "Well, whatever. If it's going down, it's going down."
I don't get those people.
I don't get it either, but he made it very clear. He was just like, "Well, what are you gonna do?" I'm like, "Well, probably nothing." Like, he goes, "So why?"
So why worry?
Why
it's
worry?
inevitability.
Yeah, it's out of your control. If we're gonna go down now and die, we're gonna die. I used to get so angry, but he's
Yeah.
right.
Well, he's right to a point, but he hasn't thought it through.
Oh, really? There's something I could be doing.
No, he hasn't thought it through. He should be more concerned because it's not just dying there. It's the descent.
Right.
It's knowing, oh, are we going to live? Are we not? No, we're not. And then people screaming. You go, shut up.
Right. He would just say he'd just start a conversation with the person beside him.
Yeah, they
And I
would be
don't-
screaming,
I
though.
don't doubt that he wouldn't, though.
Yeah.
But we're all gonna die. But that's ego, right? That's.
Mm-hmm. Now, what do you think caused this?
I have no idea. I've thought about that a long time.
Are your parents like that?
No.
Death in the family?
I had a lot of deaths in my family, but just grandparents, like any other child.
Yeah.
No, I have no idea where it came from.
You're just sensitive, yeah.
Just a sensitive idiot.
Did it cause you to not make friends or not have fun?
I was pretty good at making friends.
So you could occupy your brain?
I would lose friends, but I would gain friends and
Pretty good at making and losing
and losing.
friends.
Yeah, and then you mix in, hormones and getting older and not knowing what you want to do, and then it just became anger. In my
Until-
20s, I was a pretty angry dude.
And that's when you started stand-up.
That's when I started
And
stand-up.
you were also doing theater, as you told me.
Yeah. Theater, and then I got the great opportunity to work with John on the John Doerr Show. Is this an interview about John Doerr? Which, looking back, I wish I'd enjoyed more. I was just in that. I'm a young comic. I'm angry at the world. Think I deserve everything. And I was working with one of the kindest, interesting human beings, and he was so kind to his crew and so kind to his writers and so kind to like anyone
He is kind
that
to anyone.
worked on that show.
The anti-Paul F. Tompkins.
No, Paul is the most lovely human being. And so I feel like I missed that opportunity. I feel like I wish I could go back and enjoy it more than I did. And then I worked on Mr. D afterwards, went into it going, okay, this time I'm going to enjoy it. And I hated it with every part of my body.
From the beginning?
From the
The hate had to grow on you.
Yeah, it grew. It was after season 1. I was pretty filled with hate.
Your character, you were the librarian.
Yeah.
Mr.
Leung.
He was pretty seething too.
He was pretty seething.
And is that you drew from your hatred of the show or just from being an angry young comic?
I think I play psychopaths and angry people very well. I think it's rooted in my gut somewhere. It's weird. In my late 30s, no, really late 30s, finally started seeing a therapist and started trying to find some calm and some peace. And it's such it's a lovelier place to walk around Earth.
From that perspective.
From that perspective, rather than just being angry all the time.
If only
so
you
amazing.
knew.
Every little interaction is so much different.
So if I had interviewed you, if you had done my show in your 20s, how would it have gone?
I've kind of, during this interview, I've been kind of in my head going, wow, you just, Mark, good for you. You just started a conversation with no question. He didn't ask you anything, and you just started talking. So I'm pretty impressed with that.
That is good.
I probably would have sat back. I probably would have. I wouldn't have revealed anything to you.
You would have been the Patton Oswalt of guests.
Is that what he's like?
He will answer a question succinctly and politely,
right?
And no more.
And no more.
If you have a question, he'll answer it. If you just leave him hanging, he'll leave you hanging.
Nice.
So no conversation, just Q&A.
Really?
Yeah. So that's more like you would have done. You would have answered the question.
I would answer the question, and then I would have felt like, okay, well, I've said enough words, so I'll just stop talking.
Yeah. Good thing podcasts weren't around when you were in your 20s.
Oh, my God. I good thing it was just morning radio.
Yeah.
You know, where they're just yelling at you anyway. So.
So the therapist helped?
Yeah, it was great.
Do you still see the therapist?
Not right now, but I probably will. It was. I suggest it to anyone.
At no point did you think, I know all this already. I'm wasting my money.
I was the kind of person that probably would have shit on someone going to therapy in my 20s, early 30s.
Yeah.
And man, was I wrong. It's really just you get to go to a place and talk to someone that has no bearing on your life whatsoever. There's no want from them. There's no need from them. There's no repercussion from them. And there's really no one in your life you can talk to that way.
And they don't tell you how to be. They just let you get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. I'm happy.
Shout out for therapists.
Shout out for therapists.
Oh, I'm glad because otherwise we wouldn't be 52 minutes into this.
Do you have a cutoff?
It would be a short.
I noticed some of them are like a half hour and some of them are like an hour and a half.
Well, what's yours? Oh, of mine, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Is that depending on the person? Or how much time they had?
Yeah.
Or it wasn't going well?
The short ones? I can't remember a short one.
Who's the worst person you've ever interviewed?
Patton Oswalt.
He was the worst.
But never for this show.
But not as a bad person, just a bad interview? Or was he a bad...
Well, it's hard to say over the phone, right? I don't want to say that, but because I don't know.
Phone interviews...
Because somebody else, another comic, because I'm sure he really is generous with other comedians.
Right.
And he might just have a thing against journalists.
Paul F Tompkins.
No. No, Patton Oswalt. But so for this show, I can't remember one that was half an hour. Eliza?
Eliza was short.
Yeah, so she only had a half hour to talk. And I said, okay. And then during the radio show, I played some clips around it, but then for the podcast, I just aired the interview.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet you she was lying. I'm going to ask her. I bet you she put a time limit on it.
Well, she's done the show 3 times.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Is she put a time limit on every time?
No, she's a little bigger now.
Yeah.
Now she has people to tell her what to do. I don't know. Maybe that's not true. But no, it wasn't a time limit every time. And for the ones that go long, like Orny, it was an hour 45.
Yeah.
Something like that.
But I would expect that. It's Orny.
He talks. And I can go as long as he can go. Norm Macdonald, 90 minutes. He talks.
Last night, I was about to go on, and Norm tweeted me, ha, 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 at one of my jokes, and I felt pretty good.
You squealed.
I felt pretty good inside. It was almost one of those moments I wanted to show every comic back there.
Yeah.
Look it.
Yeah, he's
great. Yeah, he's an interesting man.
He is.
I've never met him.
What was your joke?
It was not that great, but it was okay. It was I'd rather hear an orphan mauled by a tiger than a table filled with businessmen laughing all together. You know that laugh where businessmen all laugh, and then it starts coming down, and one of the businessmen says a tag, and then they all laugh again.
Is this unique to businessmen?
It's very businessmen. Sit in a bar where there's a bunch of businessmen, and someone said to me, "How do you know they're businessmen?" Trust me. There's no questioning who a businessman is.
And Norm liked it, or else he was being one of those men in his laughter. Ha, 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 ha.
Well, he retweeted it. It was nice.
Oh, that was good. And you've never met him?
Never met him.
And he follows you?
Yeah.
Wow. He used to follow me, too.
I think he did a weird thing where he unfollowed a bunch of people and then he followed them back.
He does that because he posts so many tweets from, meaningless golf tournaments and football games that I think every couple of months he just deletes his account and starts fresh. Yeah.
That makes sense. What? Was that a sign? But we were talking about phone interviews. They're the worst. They're hard. Because I have a silent laugh. Like I have a...
Me too.
I have a wheeze.
Yeah.
So if I say something and laugh, they don't hear me laugh. And if you have a silent laugh, then
you can't hear me.
We have no idea. Then there's this just awkward pause. So I've said something that I thought was kind of funny. You hear nothing, and then... So in 2014... Is
that how most interviews go for you? Are they that dry?
They are. I've had the worst luck, though. But I have a quality. Like, if you want to meet the craziest people in the city, just walk around with me for the day. I attract them like cats go to people that hate cats. And I don't hate crazy people. That sounds terrible. But I do. I attract them. So for whatever reason, whenever I get an interview, I'm always surprised when it's lovely. Like, this is fine. This feels safe and fine. And But I get the, hey, Mike, so what have you been up to? And, hey, weren't you in that thing? And I wasn't. And
where do you get your ideas? Because this is a question I've long wondered about comedians.
Yes. Where do we get our ideas, and who influenced us? Are you going to use this? It's great, which we talked about, touched on earlier. You're going to use this in your skit.
Nobody says that to you.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Certainly not a journalist.
Yes. Well, are radio personalities journalists?
Yeah, no.
There's the question, right?
They're in the media. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll grant you that. So you're on a morning show, and...
So what kind of skits do you do? The thing is, skits to me is the most offensive word.
Well, because
to say to a comedian,
it's like Saturday Night Live does a sketch or a skit.
Yeah, but you'd call that a sketch.
Yeah, but
right?
I mean, so what is a skit? It's certainly not what stand-up does, but
I don't know.
To me,
it's
also like a sketch.
That's something you do at work for the lunchtime cabaret.
A skit.
Yeah, we're gonna put on a skit for the rest of the staff.
But it's acting with other people and usually comedic.
It is, but I don't know.
Yeah, but no, I do hear this. I heard a person who doesn't watch a lot of comedy just the other day tell me, "Oh, I saw this stand up on a cruise ship. Oh, now what was his skit or what was his sketch?"
Yeah.
They use them interchangeably for
They
stand up.
do.
Yeah.
They do.
But you would think a guy in radio would know better.
You would think, and someone asked me the other day, like just a regular person said, "Well, why is it so offensive?" And I was like, I don't have an answer. I really don't.
Yeah, because it isn't really. It just drives you insane that what you do is completely oblivious
yeah, it's like
to the masses.
it's using a term that they use it in such a way that they think they're using a term like they're in the know. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you were talking to a chef or a mechanic and you didn't know anything about cars, you wouldn't just choose a random word to describe
From
what
their jargon.
Yeah. So you're going to be using your wrenchy-magoo or your it's like it's almost like thrown away too. So it just drives me nuts.
And you get a bad attitude right off the top.
If I hear skit,
You tune out.
But the sad thing is I already know who I'm dealing with. They don't ever recover. They don't ever go and come out with this brilliant idea after that. I know exactly who I'm dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Skit, and then they'll go, "What do you think of Rob Ford?" It's like, well, if you've seen any of my stand-up, I probably have no opinion. And then you
Surely you have opinions outside of your stand-up.
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Don't that one. I think you should just ease up a bit.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Somebody has an opinion.
I've taken your advice once already.
You're
today.
from Toronto.
Yeah.
He was your mayor.
Yeah.
You surely would have an opinion on it. One that maybe you don't want to reveal,
Yeah.
or one you haven't
No,
given much
he
thought
was a
to.
disgusting, terrible human being, and now he's dying.
Ouch.
See? So where did
Well, Mark,
that lead us?
thanks for coming by. Yeah, I know. It tells you in your head they don't really have a relevant question to ask. They're just throwing out.
Yeah, they're just grabbing stuff out of the air, and it's
Yeah.
like, well, obviously you don't care, so why should I?
Do you have an opinion on Bill Cosby?
Yeah, it's pretty sad what's going on there. It's weird, and I get why it's taken so long because people don't really want to believe it. And unfortunately, we once again did not listen to the women that it happened to, which seems to be a terrible reoccurrence.
Do we need to
as
say allegedly,
human beings?
or do we just say?
Did I
there's-
say anything?
No, you said the women that it happened to, and I'm wondering, should we say that it allegedly happened to? Cover our tracks here,
Sure.
Or-
Do you think people are going to be coming after us?
or even just ethically?
Allegedly. But here's the thing. Whether it's allegedly or not, same with the Gian Gameshi thing. 8-9 women come forward where we automatically, well, I don't, but the public automatically went to his defense and said, well, why aren't they going to court? Why do 9 women have to go to court to at least be heard? Logically,
guess-
we can go, that's 9 human beings. What do 9 human beings from across the country have to gain?
I guess it's more. I mean, I don't know those people defending him,
Right.
where they're coming from, but I guess it's more to hear their whole story. I mean, it would go to court so we can hear the women's story,
Mm-hmm.
and to know if they stand up to scrutiny, and because there's somebody else on the other end of that whose career is ruined and whose life may be ruined, and to see what he has to say about that, just so we can hear both sides.
I
argue
agree.
back
I'm
and
not.
forth.
I'm not attacking the judicial process. I think everybody
you
should have their
were.
day in trial. What I'm attacking is our instantaneous. These
Dismissal.
women must be looking for something or out for something,
Right.
It's just it happens every time. It just happens every single time.
Mm-hmm.
They want to bring the big rich man down so they can make money. I've heard it so many times. It's like, well, it's not fun. It's not going to be great. It's
No.
not going to be, oh, they're going to be the center square on Hollywood Squares now. No, they're going to go through hell and torment, and so anyway,
Yeah,
it just drives me nuts.
Yeah, and were you a fan of Bill Cosby before?
No,
Sure, you say that now.
I really wasn't. I really wasn't. The guys I studied came much, much later.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm more contemporary comics.
And you're staying on top of the trends, as you mentioned,
Yeah, I'm trying to,
the comedic trend, except for going personal.
except for going personal, because that's big right now.
Yeah,
Louis C.K. and
but you did get pretty personal here. I hope I didn't push you too hard.
No, but I got personal on things I don't mind talking about.
Oh, okay. Damn, I was hoping that you got personal with something. That,
I don't think I've ever talked about therapy, so there you go. You got
okay,
you got a
good.
scoop.
That's how I will build this show. Mark forward. No, I'll say the guy from John Doerr's television show,
Yeah,
Mark Forward, opens up about his therapy.
there you go. Yeah, yeah. Talks about being crazy. Just throw that in.
But-
Hey, you can call me crazy as long as the credit isn't Mr. D. I'm okay.
Oh, yeah. So you're not on Mr. D anymore
No.
because you just hated it.
Yeah, that's what. No, I was let go.
You were let go by the producers.
Yeah.
Well, how are they going to justify that on the show?
I don't think they will. I think there's just a new. I wasn't in the creative process to figure out how. I thought they just kill me off, but they didn't. I think it's just mentioned, and then there's a new librarian.
Like, was that like a sock in the gut, or was that a relief?
The part of the producers letting me go, I don't care, but the sock in the gut was more that the CBC has said or done nothing. So that kind of was a kick in the gut.
Oh, do you mean like they didn't rush to your defense?
Well, not that they. I didn't expect them to rush to my defense, but I expected them to acknowledge it.
To you?
Yes, and I've had meetings and encounters and things since, and there's no mention of any of it. It's never been brought up. The fact that I was on their show for 3 years and no longer. It's weird, right?
Yeah. So you're in a meeting pitching other things,
Yes.
I assume, and nobody even mentions Mr. D.
Nope. Never have. Not even an email. And here's the thing. I emailed all them.
Hey, great working with you.
I emailed top to bottom. Really
fuck
appreciate the
yourself.
3 years. I really enjoyed it. Hopefully we can work together. I didn't get a reply. That seems to be their way, though, right?
Is it maybe that's just TV's way? Has to be impersonal because they're doing this all the time.
I guess.
Canceling shows, firing actors.
I guess.
Can't get too close.
Well.
Well,
I
that's too
guess.
bad because you were really good on that show, I
Hey,
got to
thanks. I
say.
appreciate that. I think I'm pretty proud of the work I did on that show.
Mhm. Did you like the show? Could you distance yourself from it enough to look at it and go, that was a good show? Even though you hated doing
I
it.
mean, I think the show is good. I think it could be better, but as a writer and a performer, you only have so much control.
Mhm.
There was things I would do differently to increase its product, but yeah, I mean, I don't want to say for Canadian television because a lot of people say that, but it's a funny show.
Mhm. Yeah, and so were you
I would
going
give it more arc. I would give his character more levels.
Jerry's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think it's going to get tiresome. But overall, I think it was good. And I like the fact, and I've always complimented Jerry on the fact that he hired comics and improvisers rather than comedic actors. Because I don't think there is comedic actors.
You don't think what?
I don't think there is comedic actors.
They're just actors.
They're just actors
Right.
trying to be funny.
Mm-hmm. Well, then the flip side of that is you get comedians who don't know how to act.
Exactly, and it goes both ways, right? But there's something great about the timing and the understanding of the humor that you can see bad acting comedy wise, and you can see bad comedians acting.
Did you go up to the producers or Jerry or anyone and say, "Here's what I think we could do better"? And is that why they said we got to get rid of this guy? It's too opinionated. I liked it better when he was quiet and didn't talk to anybody.
I don't think it's fair for me to talk about what happened, but there was some stuff and things went sour, and
Right.
I don't work there anymore.
It'll all come out in the trial when you sue them for $55 million.
Yeah, right. No, I just I'm happy to move on, and I wish them all the best in season 4.
Well said.
And I really do. I really do. I hold some to certain people, but the crew was amazing, and the cast are good people, and they deserve the best.
That was out in Halifax?
We shot in Halifax, yeah.
And so you would be there for how long during a season?
About 3 months.
Wow.
2.5, 3 months, because I was writing as well.
Yeah.
If I was acting, I would just be going back.
Would
and
you
forth.
Would you go do stand up in Halifax? In and around
I never
Halifax?
did.
No.
I never did, because it was yucks in Halifax, and I don't.
You're no longer.
I'm not allowed to perform on their stages.
I'm sensing a theme here throughout your life.
Well,
I mean, one thing before we go, I want to mention Joke or Choke,
yeah.
which is airing, or maybe it has. I'm not sure yet.
Oh,
On
well, it's December 12th at 9 p.m.
December 12th, 2014.
If this airs past that, please go back in a time machine and watch it.
Yeah. I tried to find it online, and it's not online anymore.
Did they take it down?
I think so, probably because they're going to air it. But I saw the trailer, and I loved the trailer.
Oh, thanks.
And just a quick explanation. It's these 4 comics who get up. It's a competition. They're given a week to come up with material that on a topic they've been given.
Mm-hmm.
And you, sir, sit there and tear them.
Yeah, act all high and mighty as they do something that's really, really hard.
Yeah. And
fun.
and I love that kind of comedy.
Yeah, and I mean, all the comics are in on it, and they get it. It's not American Idol.
No,
They're
you're
not aspiring to win anything because there's no prize.
There's no nice judge. You are the Simon.
Yeah, there's no Paula.
It's like American Idol with just that guy.
Simon Cowell. Yeah, and they play off it however they want to play off it, and they're not allowed to perform the material anywhere until the taping.
Oh, so they can't go try it out somewhere.
And then the last round, they're given the topic, and we go to commercial, and they come back and do a minute on a topic they just learned about.
Each one with the same topic?
Yeah.
Because then they could hear the other person.
They can hear the other person.
That's not fair to the person who goes first.
It's really not. But the thing is, they're on stage. They don't get time alone.
Oh, okay.
And this is the other thing, which is really crazy. You're gonna do a minute. There was 4 comics to start. You sit on stage. You don't get to leave. So all 4 of them are on stage watching the other guys perform. You have no idea what they're going to talk about because we didn't pre-screen any of it. So someone in front of you could be doing
what you
the same
thought of.
slant, the same idea, and you're now rethinking it in your head. It's insane that any comic would agree to do this. But they do, and they're so good about it.
Would you do well on that show as one of the 4?
I think I would do okay. I think I would do okay.
But it's great. 1 episode they're going to air, and maybe make more. You made 2.
I hope so.
It would be good.
I hope so.
Who knows? I mean, good
I
Lord.
I gotta wait to see what the tax funding and all that.
The Canadian or the Comedy Network sure needs something like that.
I totally agree, and I hope they see that.
Yeah.
I hope they see that something like Midnight is totally promoting comedy and people are watching it, and we could do the same thing here.
And then if you do get a season out of it, you'll invite some Vancouver comics, some comics that are outside the
100%.
The great.
I did it again. Yes,
GTO.
That would be our goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would not just be a Toronto thing, but of course, we're making a pilot. We couldn't afford to fly in the great talent from all across Canada.
Exactly. Well, Mark, I've enjoyed talking with you 100%.
Oh, man. Nice wrap up.
Well, you supplied it. You reminded me of it.
Thank you. You got a lot of scoop out of me. You got some Mr. D stuff that no one ever gets. I'll probably leave here going, oh, I shouldn't have said that, but I don't think I said anything
No, it was all good. That's great.
that's going to come back to bite me.
No, because no one listens to this.
Well, I'll promote it.
You'll promote it.
Yeah.
And of course, you'll mention it on Stop Podcasting Yourself.
Yeah, well, if they ever get back to me. I hope they have. They seem like nice gentlemen.
Yeah. And it'll just be all funny there.
Yeah.
They're just funny. They're not going to get any
They're
of
not
the
going
deep
to get
stuff.
into this deep
So
stuff.
it's a nice yin and yang. You could listen to Mark on their show and hear and get two different sides.
I love it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we all learned a lot about the comedian Mark Forward in this episode of What's So Funny, didn't we? And I hope you enjoyed yourselves. Hope you liked the episode. Now go like it online somewhere. Tell people about it. Say, this is the episode you want to hear. And all the other ones that we've done. We'll be back next Sunday night, same time, same channel. Thanks for listening.